Welcome to Bandit's Keep Actual Play. I'm Daniel. In this episode, I'm continuing my original Dungeons & Dragons solo campaign using Chainmail and Outdoor Survival. In this episode, Vonnie has one more mapper to send out, so we're going to send her last mapper out. Let's see what they can recover. So we have lots of mappers for our adventurers to buy and explore. Okay, it's February the 25th, and Vonnie, one of my master mappers, has one more new recruit mapper that has not gone out in the field yet. So we're going to send them out today to hopefully get a successful map. Her other two mappers have gone out and they're coming back on the 5th and 1st, well, the 1st and then the 5th of March. They're technically in the world. They're still out in the field right now. But that won't affect us right now. So let's do what we do here. So this is the mapper. And the first thing I'm going to do is I have 7 chits here. I'm going to roll 7d6 to see where they go on my map. And again, if this is your first time here, this is broken down into 6 quadrants. So the first thing I do is we have 1 in 1, 3 and 5, 1 and 4, 1 and 3, 1 and 6. So one of them goes in 6. 3 of them will stay here. 1's in 4. 4 is the worst. 1 is in 3. And 1 is in 1, which is over there. So then once I put them in their quadrants, I basically just put my finger on them and I close my eyes and just kind of shuffle it around and kind of move it around and I leave it. Same one here. This is the best kind of oddball random way that I could think of to do this. I mean, if I suppose I could also do like a dice drop, right? And just drop them on there, but I'm not sure how I'd keep them. Maybe I'll try that in the future, but I don't know exactly how I'd keep them where they need to be. So a dice drop, if you don't know, is when you just take like, for instance, there's 1 in this one, you just drop it there and see where it falls. But that's my fear, is it'll fall off the table. So not gonna do that today. This is where we're gonna start. Once I do this, I just kind of look and make sure they're actually in hexes for the most part. Yeah, all right. Now, using the chart up in the corner, I will roll a d6 to see where our mapper comes in. 5. So 5, oh God, the worst possible place. 5 is this quadrant here. So it's either going to be the bottom or the side. So odd, even. Even, okay. All right, well, that's not ideal. So what happens is we bring our mapper in the center, which is actually right here on water, of the bottom. Now, the way this works is they can leave from anywhere on this bottom. So in other words, they probably will leave from like right here, right? They don't have to leave from there. And what we're going to do is we're going to try to get as many maps as possible. I think just really quickly looking at this, even though this map up here might seem like a good option, with only 1 die to be able to stay in the field, that I got to be near a house so I can refresh, or just near the border so I can leave. So I think that it makes more sense to go after this one, or possibly this one. So before I make any moves, I always kind of think to myself, if I go after this one, what I would have to do probably is it's going to take me about 3 days or more to get to this house, refresh, get that one, and then hopefully get off. But if I roll badly, I might not get to that house, right? That's always a challenge. This one, because if I think about it, I mean, I could go this way, obviously. It costs 3 hexes to go this way, but I think because this is here, the smart move would be for me to go up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is assuming I can turn on the first move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 would get me there. That's 2 days. Then I can go partially through this path, then cut over. Again, about 3 days. But I'm not sure I could get off the board, especially if I start losing movement. So I think I do need to get myself near a house. This one is near impossible for me because basically with only 1 die, because what I'd have to do, because the swamp really takes a lot, I'd have to come this way, follow this path to here, cross that and get up here, which again wouldn't be a problem if I had multiple dice so there was a place to refresh, but there's not. So with all that being said, I think what I'm going to do is, now the other way to go would be here. It would cost me 3, I'd have to be able to turn too. I could go straight across and try to get to this house. Get that one. All right, let's roll the dice and see what we got. I think what's going to matter here is what I roll on this first die. If it's a 1 or a 2, it's going to be really hard for me to do much. So let's hope that's not the case. All right, here we go. 4. All right. So at 3, looking at my chart here, 3, 4, or 5, I still must move my maximum distance, but I can turn once. I think just once. Yep. So that's good, because if I didn't get that, I'd really be in trouble. I doubt I'm going to end up here, so I'm going to put this up there. So what I have to decide is whether or not I want to try to scoot across this bottom. I don't think so. It's going to cost me too many movement points. If I could turn more than once, I might be able to come this way like this, but since I can't, the move is really going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, that's the end of the movement phase here, because I've 6 movement. The next step here is to check water. So if I roll a 1 or a 2, then I found water, otherwise I did not. 1, okay. So what that means is, I didn't find food because we didn't cross a food hex. My food will drop down by 1, but my water will stay where it is. Next, I'm going to turn this to 5. This is my tracker of how long it's in the field. And we're going to make a roll to see if there's a random encounter. I'm in the clear, so there's a random encounter only on the roll of a 6. There is not. Okay, so that day goes by. Okay, so far so good. Next day. Oh, I got to track that, right? It's February the 25th, I said. 2/25. 1 day has gone by. So of course that matters because this is all happening in a world where there's other mappers and adventurers, there's all this stuff going on. So I need to know where we are in time. I was going to say in time and space, but I guess time and space. Why not? Okay, 3. So again, I can turn once if I want. And the smart move for me here, I have to decide. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. All right, so 1, 2, 3, because a crossing only costs 1. 4, 5. So now I've crossed both food and water, so neither one will go down. If I stop on this food, it'll reset my food, which is nice, but do I want to risk that, right? Now, if I just want to keep going, so I have one more point here. So the question is whether or not I want to try to get to this house. So that would move me to here. If I do that, then the next day, assuming I can turn at least once, 1, 2, well, I'd probably go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then the next day, 1, 2, and I get stuck in the mountains. So that's not going to be great unless I roll a 6 somewhere or I can really maneuver myself. This one, I take this one more move because there's a path here, so I can actually get in right here. So it's only going to cost me 1. Then the next day I could go 1, 2, 3, is assuming I can turn, 4, 5, 6. So that's perfect for me. So I'm going to move to here and risk it. So as I said, I crossed food and water, but I didn't stop on either one. So neither one goes down, but neither one goes up either. I will then turn this to 4, and we're going to roll to see if there's a random encounter. I treat all paths as rivers. So on river has an encounter on a 5 or a 6. 5. Okay, so we're going to have a random encounter, but of course, you don't roll on the river chart because that wouldn't make sense. We're going to roll on the forest chart because that's where the woods, because that's where we are. So we're going to roll a d8, and we got 7. 7 is animals. Okay, so the way animals work is we roll on the animal chart here. Basic animals, d12. Animals never have a lair, so this is almost inconsequential. What we really want to know is how many there are. 5. Ants. Well, you know, in this situation, it's going to have to be giant ants, obviously, because regular ants probably wouldn't bother us too much. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at the monster manual. So now jump ahead because I've got some of the stuff memorized. I played so much, but large insects or animals, there's between 2 to 16 of them. What we want is a big number here. 7 and 1, 8. So between 2 and 16, that's exactly 50%. So we look on our evasion chart. There's one of us. There's between 26 and 50% of them. We have a 70% chance of evasion. We're in the woods. That adds 25%. Now, and neither one, I treat all giant animals as movement 12, so they move the same as us. Now, here's the catch. That's all fine and dandy unless we are surprised. So we're going to roll now to see if we're surprised. Are we surprised? Are the giant ants surprised? Okay, neither one is surprised. So what that means is I have a 95% chance to evade them, which I'll roll now. 13, so I evade them no problem. There's no lair, so this is kind of worthless to us. So it is what it is. I'm not going to make a note of it. We're just going to say another day goes by. All right, this one's kind of a big deal because we don't want to roll a 1 or a 2 now. If we do, it's going to put us in a very precarious position. And we're going to have to rethink. 4, okay. You know, again, a 6 is always the best thing to roll, but 3, 4, or 5 gives us 1 turn. And if I calculate this correctly, 1, because paths are only 1, 2, 3, we pass through food and water. Woods cost 2, so 4, 5, and then this is the clear, 6. So we land right on our map. This day ends, so we roll this forward. So that's going to go to 3. We did, in fact, cross over food and water, so that stays the same. So this is kind of an important one because we never want to really have an encounter that we have to run from. So in the clear, there's only an encounter on a 6. So I'm going to roll this d6 and see if we have... And when I say run from, the difference is that if you evade them, you get to stay in the same hex and just kind of avoid them. If you don't evade them, you have to run, which then starts off a chase, and that can eat up days, which isn't good for us because we don't have a whole lot of time here. 1, no encounter. Okay. So now we have to consider our possible exit. It might be possible to get to this house, but it would be incredibly risky because if we go in this direction and we goof it up, then we may end up with not enough days to get this way. Because remember, each forest eats 2 movement. So you can only move through 3 of these in 1 day. And then this would be 2 days. So it is possible to get here, but we'd have to know that we're going to miss the house in 1 day, which is not possible because we won't be able to get there. So the other possibility, again, would be to go to this one. If we rolled, we'd have to roll a 6 because that would give us freedom of movement. So I think the smart thing to do, assuming we don't roll a 1 or a 2, is to literally just go exactly back the way we came. That should put us in a place where we can get out of here right on time. We'll only have 1 map, but we'll be alive. So if we roll a 1 or a 2, then we'll recalculate here. So let's make a roll. I only counted if it's inside the box. Ooh, 1, okay. So this is bad because when you roll a 1 or a 2, you got to do your full movement in 1 direction. So if we go this way, 1, 2, it costs 3, 4 because we're entering from there. 3, 4, 5, 6. Then tomorrow, assuming we can turn, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then assume we can turn 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, boy. Okay. This way we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we have to stop. Then the next day, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I don't think we can make it. I think we actually are completely screwed right now. But we're going to give it a shot. Maybe we should go for the house. It might be our only hope. I can't turn, though. So what if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't think we can make it the other way. We might only be able to make it if we, you know what, I'm just going to go for it. This is going to put us further this way, which I don't think works for us. So let's just go this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we stop. This drops down to 2. And low roll here, so we found water, which we did. That doesn't go down, but the food does. Now we're going to roll to see if we have an encounter. We do not. Encounter on 4 in the woods, and that's that. All right, let's roll again. No sense in over talking about it until I know what my roll is. 1. All right, so we got to, again, go in a straight line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We might make it. Okay. That drops to 1. Did we find water? We did. Okay, so that doesn't go down, but the food does. So our movement is still 6. This is a big one right now. Do we have a random encounter? In the clear? No. Whew. Okay, I stopped. I got excited. I stopped counting the days. Okay. Last roll. I think we might make it off the table. 6. That's always nice. 6 means you can move as much or as little as you want, and you turn as many times as you want. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Whew. Okay. That would have taken away our die if we didn't get off the board this turn, and that would have been the end of this mapper. But we did. And obviously, we don't have to roll for random encounter or water or anything else because we're off the board. So now the next step is to mark where the map is. The way we do this is we measure from one of the sides. Looks like it's 11 and a half. So 4. So I mark it 4 up, 11.5 over. Then we're going to make a note of the date, right? So we left on the 25th. This would be 26, 27, 28, 29, because it's 29 days of February this year. March 1st, March 2nd. So on March 2nd, we return home. This is important, of course, because it dictates when we can go out again, but it also dictates when the map's available. And now finally, let's see what kind of map it is. We look at the Monsters and Treasure book. Whenever it's just blank like this, we roll randomly. If it has text or anything else on it, then it's automatically a magic and treasure map. So we're going to roll a percentile. 49 is a treasure map. Okay. So now we go here to what kind of treasure map it is. It's a D8. 8. Oh, we got one of those before. 2 and 7. And if we look at 2, 2 is, no, 3 and 7, sorry, 3 and 7. 3 is 1 and 2. So 1 is 10 to 40,000 silvers. 10,000 silver pieces. And gold, it's 5 to 30,000. Ooh, 30,000 gold pieces, that's pretty good. But more importantly, 7 is 10 to 60 gems, 20 gems, because gems and jewelry are where the real cash is, and 2 to 20 jewelry. Oh, that's 15. 15 jewelries. Oh, you know what we could do? I know I just rolled a D6, but in the past I've actually rolled, that would actually be 10 D6 if we want to do it that way, but I just rolled it that way, it's fine. So basically we found a treasure map with, the location is going to have 10,000 silver pieces, 30,000 gold pieces, 20 gems, and 15 jewelry. Now I think oftentimes I do this off camera, so maybe we'll just do it here so you can kind of see how I figure this out. What I do is, once I have the map, what the map's value is, I look at my treasure types. And I try to find one that would have this kind of stuff. So there's no magic items. You know, I don't think any of these say no, so we won't count that. But we'll look and say, it's usually the gems and jewelry that are the trick. So what can have 20 gems and 15 jewelry, roughly? This one is close. This one's 2 to 16 of each, so in a high percentage, that's potential, right? But here's 10 to 40, and there's 1 to 100. I think that's dragon, so I don't usually go H. So I think this looks like it'd be the closest. It's a little bit low, but I think it's the closest. And if we look, there's a chance for up to 10 to 40,000 gold pieces. That also works. So if we take this one, which is G, and then we think, well, it'd be nice to have another one that has either a little bit of silver or some more jewelry. And we look for one with like maybe a small amount of jewelry and some silver. So like this one or this one. I guess if you rolled the maximum here and you had 18, you'd only need 2 more. If you rolled the maximum here and got 10, you would only need 5 more. So it can't really be this one if you actually want to line it up. So D looks like would be right. So G and D. And then what I do is I go to the monsters. And again, this is not a perfect science, but we kind of think of what could be in this layer that's something that's G and something that's D that might actually work together. So we got D could be orcs. That's always nice. D is also hobgoblins and gnolls. D is trolls. Okay, so trolls seem like a kind of a boss thing on its own, but the other two look like they could be supplement to something. So let's see what G is. G, only one thing that's G, elves. Well, that doesn't make sense. So I don't love that. But what we could do is we could say that let me just make sure that's right. Yeah, I don't see another G. The other thing we could say is that maybe now we got to tell a little story, right? Maybe this was an ancient elven area and it was overrun, by orcs. So it makes sense for us to maybe do orcs. And because the fact that the G treasure type is more valuable than the D, we're going to assume that there was more orcs than elves. So we're going to give them a boost. So what we'll do is we'll say, going back to this, we'll say there's orcs with trolls. But we'll make the trolls not the full amount. Because again, that seems like a lot of trolls. Well, not necessarily. Let's just roll it. I usually don't actually figure this out right now, but we'll say orcs. Actually, I think orcs, if we look at orcs, no, yeah, orcs. They can have trolls. Okay, so we're going to say, there we go. So we're going to say 1 to 4 trolls and orcs. And we're going to say, actually, we'll just roll all of these and see what else might be with them. We're going to say cave complex, because I want to have the option for trolls. So we're going to go orc cave complex. So we need a number of orcs to figure out what would be with them. So it's 30 to 300, which is D10 times 30. So that's only 90. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt that they're going to have one of these things for sure, but let's roll to see what it might be. They say per 100, but we'll say there's a 25% chance there's a Balrog with them. Yeah, there's a Balrog. Okay, orcs and a Balrog. I'm curious what the Balrog's treasure is. F. Okay. Oh, hold on. I wrote down G, but no, that's fine. F would have also worked with the numbers. So honestly, that's perfect. We go F plus D, and we have orcs with a Balrog. So we have 90 of these guys. 90 orcs that are working together with a Balrog. I guess I should probably roll the rest of it as well. Dragon, 10%. Nope. Ogres. Nope. And 10% per, well, it would have been nope anyways. And trolls. Nope. All right, so there is a Balrog and 90 orcs at this location. And that's basically how we work this out. So now I have to make an adventure around it, obviously, if one of the parties takes it. But that's what we know is there. Balrog, 90 orcs, and all this treasure. So this is a pretty good map for our mapper. And yeah, can't wait to run this adventure. If you've been enjoying these actual plays, and I hope you have if you got this far, please do like the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, share it, do all that good stuff that you do on YouTube. Also, be sure to check out the description below. You're going to find links to my Discord server. Jump over there, lots of great people over there, and my Patreon if you want to support the channel. I'll talk to you soon.